Hey everyone! Before I dive into this story, let me pull you into a moment that shook my heart to its core. For 16 years, I've loved my daughter with every fiber of my soul, building a bond I thought was rooted in trust, laughter, and shared dreams. I believed we were navigating her teenage years as a team, facing every storm together. Then, one explosive afternoon, her words sliced through that bond, leaving me questioning everything I thought I knew about being a mom. What happened next wasn't about proving her wrong. It was about rediscovering my strength, about showing a love that holds steady even through the sharpest pain. Stick with me, because this story is raw, real, and will hit you right in the soul. Drop a comment to let me know where you're watching from, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This one's going to stay with you. My name is Rachel Harper. I'm 42, a pediatric nurse living in Madison, Wisconsin, in a 2-story colonial where the front porch creaks under a drift of oak leaves, their crisp, earthy scent swirling in the autumn breeze, and the backyard blooms with lavender, their purple spikes swaying, dusting the air with a soft, floral hum. I'm not one for the spotlight. I find peace in the beep of hospital monitors, the rustle of patient charts, or the chatter of my knitting circle, the air thick with wool and coffee. But if there's one thing that's always defined me, it's my devotion to my daughter, Ava. Growing up in Madison's cozy embrace, I learned family is a heartbeat. Mom's apple crisp baking, its cinnamon warmth curling through the house, Dad's campfire stories, his voice a steady hum like Lake Mendota at dusk. That's the love I poured into Ava, and when she was born, I vowed to guide her through any storm. Ava was my spark, with a laugh that twinkled like fireflies and a spirit bold as the lavender in our yard. I raised her with my husband, Matt, pouring our hearts into every moment, baking cookies, the kitchen alive with vanilla, reading Harry Potter under blankets, whispering dreams over hot cocoa, its chocolatey steam a soft vow. Now 16, a high school sophomore, her creativity shines in her poetry, scribbled in notebooks. We'd stayed close, texting daily, meeting for ice cream at Ella's Deli, the air rich with caramel and jukebox tunes. But last fall, a clash over her choices broke our rhythm in ways I never expected. Ava and I weren't perfect, but I thought our bond was solid. As a nurse, I spent long shifts soothing kids, the hospital air sharp with antiseptic. But my heart lived with Ava, sending her funny memes, cheering her poetry slams, the cafe air thick with espresso. I'd tuck notes into her backpack, inked with love, and she'd bring me lavender sprigs from our yard, their petals soft, their scent a springtime promise. But a year ago, Ava changed. She started hanging out with a new crowd, kids who skipped class and vaped behind the school, and her grades slipped, her poetry darker. At first, I was patient. Her phone buzzed constantly, the screen's glow a barrier. "Just friends," she'd snap, her voice sharp as the crack of leaves underfoot when I asked about her day. "Stop nosing, Mom." I tried to stay calm. I told myself it was teenage rebellion. She was finding herself, testing boundaries. But the signs piled up. She'd come home late, her breath sharp with mint to mask something else, her eyes dodging mine. Matt and I set rules, curfews, no phones at dinner. But Ava pushed back, her texts to her friends snarky about us. One day, her school called. She'd skipped 3 classes, spotted at a mall with her crew. My heart sank, the lavender bouquet on our counter drooping, its floral scent sour under the lamplight's glow. That night, I took her phone the screen cold in my hand, and grounded her. "This is for your future, Ava," I said, my voice firm but aching. "You're better than this." She rolled her eyes, her voice icy, slicing through the cocoa steam. "You're so controlling," she hissed. "I hate you." Her words stung, but I held my ground, thinking discipline would guide her back. Last November, as Ava's 17th birthday approached, I planned a family dinner to reconnect, to remind her of our love. I invited our closest friends, Sarah, my knitting circle partner who adored Ava's poems, Greg, her English teacher who saw her talent, and Marie, our neighbor who baked with us. I wanted this to heal us. But a week before, Ava's rebellion escalated. She skipped school again, this time for a whole day. And when I checked her laptop, left open in a rare slip, I found messages planning to sneak out with her friends. Furious, I took her phone again, its case glittery but heavy, and extended her grounding. "You're throwing your future away," I said, my voice trembling, the lavender on our table wilting, its scent faint. "I'm doing this because I love you." Ava's face twisted, her eyes blazing like a storm, her notebook slamming shut, its thud piercing the kitchen's hush. "You're the problem!" she screamed, her voice raw, shattering the cocoa's warmth. "You're always on me, ruining my life. I wish you weren't my mom." Her words were a tidal wave, drowning my heart. "Ava, I'm your mom," I sobbed, my voice breaking, tears scalding my cheeks, the lavender's scent bitter as ash. "I'm fighting for you. You're losing yourself, and it's killing me." She stormed to her room, the door slamming, its echo sharp. That night, she refused to speak, her silence a wall, thicker than stone. I collapsed in the living room, clutching her notebook, the lavender bouquet's petals curling, their scent acrid, my heart in shards. I didn't sleep that night, curled on the couch, the oak leaves rustle outside a mournful dirge, clutching Ava's notebook, its inked poems blurring through my tears, the lavender bushes swaying in the chilly dark, their floral scent sharp, but fading, like a memory slipping away. Ava's words, "You're the problem," cut deeper than her rebellion. I'd raised her to soar, to write her heart, and now she saw my love as a cage. I thought of our cookie baking nights, her giggles over cocoa, the notes I'd inked, all cast as control. I could have stormed her room, begged, or given up. But as dawn broke, the lavender glowing with dew, their purple spikes radiant against the frost, I heard Mom's voice in my soul. "Love doesn't bend, Rachel. It stands like a lake." I had to show Ava my love, not to force her back, but to remind her of her worth. For her. For me. So, I decided to host an Ava's Voice poetry reading, not to shame her, but to celebrate the daughter I knew, her words, her spirit, surrounded by those who cherished her, to plant a seed she might one day grasp. I wanted to fill our home with her poems, her fire, and Lavender's soft vow to honor my role as her mom. The next morning, I sat at my kitchen table, the air thick with the bitter tang of cold coffee, steam curling like a fading dream, the table's walnut cool under my trembling hands. I chose our living room, where Ava's notebooks piled like treasures, their pages catching the morning light as the setting. I made a list, quiche with bacon and leek, its savory steam rising, apple crisp warm with cinnamon's spicy embrace, hot cocoa rich with chocolate, and a playlist of Ava's anthems, Taylor Swift's Fierce Wail, Lord's Tender Pulse. I called those who'd watched her grow. Sarah, who framed Ava's first poem, Greg, who nurtured her talent, and my brother Ben, whose bare hugs smelled of cedar and steadied us after Dad's passing. I couldn't reach Ava. She'd locked her door, her silence a fortress. But I slipped an invite under her door, framing it as a celebration of Ava's poetry and soul. I spent the day preparing, the kitchen alive with Keisha's buttery sizzle, Crisp's cinnamon clouds, the clink of Mom's ceramic mugs, their blue glaze gleaming like a winter sky. I arranged lavender in mason jars, their purple spikes bold, their scent a floral promise, and hung fairy lights in the living room, their golden glow weaving through notebooks, casting shadows on the poems we'd read. I set a framed photo of us baking, Ava's smile a burst of light, beside a lavender sketch I'd drawn, its lines fierce. I wore a periwinkle dress, its fabric whispering against my skin, a lavender sprig pinned to my chest, its fragrance a vow of love. The poetry reading was set for Ava's birthday evening, the sky awash of indigo and silver, the lavender heavy with dew, their scent weaving through the crisp air. I stood in the living room, my heart thudding like a lake's pulse as guests arrived. Sarah brought scones, their buttery warmth curling like a hug, her embrace tight. "You're a rock, Rachel," she whispered, her voice thick. Greg carried cocoa, its chocolatey steam soft as hope, his eyes warm. "This is her, alive," he said. Ben squeezed my shoulder, his flannel rough, his voice breaking. "You're her heart, sis." Ava emerged, hesitant, her notebook clutched like a shield, her eyes wary, ink smudging her fingers, the air faintly sharp with her perfume. "Mom," she whispered, her voice trembling, the lavender's scent a bridge between us. "What's this?" I met her gaze, tears welling, my voice steady but raw. "It's for you, Ava," I choked, my voice cracking, the fairy lights glowing. "Your words, your fire. I love you, always, no matter what." As we gathered, I stood, my voice quaking but fierce, the notebook's pages rustling under the lights. "Thank you for being here," I said, tears streaming, holding up our baking photo, its frame cool in my hands. Ava screamed, "I'm the problem," after I took her phone for skipping school. It shattered me, but I'm here to celebrate her, the poet, the dreamer, my daughter. "I love you, Ava, with every breath." Sarah sobbed, "You're her strength, Rachel." Ben cried, "You're both unstoppable." Greg added, his voice thick, "Ava, your words are magic." Ava's eyes flooded, her voice raw, shattering like porcelain. "Mom, I'm so sorry," she sobbed, tears streaming, her notebook trembling, ink smearing her hands. "I was wrong to blame you. I've been lost, skipping school, hiding in my friends. You were right to take my phone, and I love you so much." I stepped closer, my voice breaking, tears scalding my cheeks, the lavender's scent sharp and sweet. "Ava, you're my world," I choked, my heart raw. "I saw you slipping, and it tore me apart. I'm your mom. I'll fight for you forever." She ran to me, her sobs shaking us, her ink-stained hands clutching my dress, the room hushed but warm with love. Friends shared stories, Sarah about Ava's first slam, her voice bold, Greg about her vivid metaphors, Ben about our cocoa nights, mugs steaming. Their words wove us back, a tapestry of love. As we ended, Marie's grandson Noah scampered up, his sneakers scuffing the floor, offering a crayon drawing of me and Ava with lavender, its purple vivid. "You're the best mom, Miss Rachel," he chirped, his voice bright as dawn. I knelt, tears spilling, the paper crinkling. "Thank you, Noah," I choked. "I'm trying." I'd done it, reclaimed my love, my role, my Ava, under lavender's floral grace. The next morning, Ava found me in the kitchen, washing Mom's ceramic mugs, their blue glaze glinting like a clear lake, the air thick with coffee's roasted warmth, its steam curling like a fragile promise. "Mom," she said, her voice raw, trembling like lavender in a breeze. "We need to talk. Last night, I felt your love, so fierce, so real. I was so wrong to call you the problem. I'm sorry, and I need you." I set down a mug, the lavender sprig still pinned to my sweater, its spikes curling but fierce, and faced her, my eyes burning. "Ava, you broke my heart," I sobbed, my voice shattering, tears scalding my cheeks, the coffee's bitterness sharp. "I took your phone because I saw you slipping, skipping school, losing your spark. I'm your mom. I'd give my life to guide you. But you blamed me, and it felt like I lost you." She sank into a chair, her face crumpling, tears dripping like dew on lavender petals, her ink-stained fingers trembling. "I know," she cried, her voice breaking, raw as a fresh wound. "I was angry, caught up in my friends, and I took it out on you. You're not the problem. You're my anchor, Mom. And I hurt you. I love you so much." I gripped the table, the mug's cool glaze steadying me, my heart torn but softening. "I love you, Ava." I choked, tears streaming, my voice raw, the lavender scent a lifeline. "I saw my girl, my poet, fading, your poems dark, your laugh gone, and it killed me. You pushed me away, and I had to learn I'm enough as Rachel, not just your mom, but you're my everything." She reached for my hand, her fingers shaking, her voice desperate, pleading, thick with pain. "I see you now," she sobbed, her words heavy, cracking. "You're the strongest mom, my hero. I'm done with those friends. I want to fix this, to write again. I don't deserve you, but I want to earn us back. Please, Mom." I held her hand, the lavender scent a steady pulse, my heart aching but blooming. "You'll always have me," I said, my voice cracking, tears warm, the coffee's steam curling like a vow. "But we rebuild slowly, Ava. Honesty, time, love. I'm your mom, but I'm Rachel too, and I'm choosing my strength." Her shoulders shook, her voice a whisper, raw and broken. "You're incredible," she said, tears falling, her eyes soft. "I want to make you proud. Thank you for fighting for me." I thought of Noah's drawing, the lavender in our yard, their purple spikes swaying in the breeze, and hugged her, our sobs blending, the kitchen warm with coffee's nutty embrace and the promise of us. Over the next weeks, my community rallied around us. Sarah texted, "You're a warrior, Rachel." That reading was pure love. Ben sent a playlist of Ava's songs, writing, "You're her North Star." Greg called, his voice thick, saying, "You brought her home, Rachel. Both of you shine." Each message was a spark, rekindling our bond. Ava stayed home more, writing poetry in the living room, her words vivid again, the air alive with ink and laughter. She joined a teen writing group, her voice growing bolder, and we baked cookies, the kitchen thick with vanilla and cinnamon, our talks raw but healing. Noah's drawing stayed on our fridge, its crayon lavender a beacon of our love. 4 months later, Ava asked to meet for ice cream. We sat at Ella's Deli, the air heavy with caramel's sweet tang, and the jukebox's retro hum, steam swirling from our hot fudge sundaes like whispered dreams. The lavender pin on my jacket glinting under the neon lights. She looked radiant, her notebook open, its pages bursting with poems, her eyes clear as a Wisconsin sky. "Mom," she said, her voice thick, trembling like lavender in a breeze. "Writing group's been tough, but it's helping me see why I hurt you. I was lost, rebelling, and I blamed you, the one who loves me most. I'm so sorry, and I want to keep rebuilding us, always." I studied her, tears pooling, my heart full but steady, the lavender scent a floral anchor. Ava, I choked, my voice shattering, the caramel sweetness sharp. You're my everything. You screamed I'm the problem and it broke me. I took your phone to guide you, to save your spark, and you shut me out. I'm your mom, but I'm Rachel too, and I had to learn I'm enough. I'm here, forever, but we go slow, with truth. She reached for my hand, her fingers trembling, her eyes wet like dew on lavender spikes, her ink-smudged nails catching the light. I see you, she sobbed, her voice raw, breaking like a wave. You're the strongest mom, my guiding light. I don't deserve you, but I'll try every day to show I love you. Thank you for never letting go. I squeezed her hand, a steady bridge, and smiled, tears warm on my cheeks, the jukebox's hum a soft rhythm. We're a team, I said, my voice soft, the Sunday's steam curling between us. Always Ava. We began anew. Ice cream dates, poetry readings, talks that bared our souls, the air warm with Coco's chocolatey hug and Trust's quiet bloom. It wasn't the bond of her childhood, but it was deeper, honest, and ours. That scream, that pain, shattered me, but it set me free. It taught me that love isn't just guiding, it's truth, courage, standing firm when your heart splinters. I stood up for Rachel, not to force Ava back, but to honor the mom who loves, who fights, who grows lavender that blooms through any frost. As I sit here now, Mom's ceramic mugs stacked neatly, their glaze catching the sunlight, I feel her whispering, "You're enough, Rachel. You always were." This story isn't just mine. It's for anyone who's loved fiercely, who's felt their bond fracture, but chose to rise, to love anyway. Share your story in the comments. How did you find your strength after a heartbreak? Your voice matters. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in the next story.